The universe is mostly a freezing, irradiated void. To find any semblance of biological order, we have to plunge down through our atmosphere and locate the specific, delicate pockets where life manages to hold on. One of those pockets is the canopy of New Caledonia. Deep in these isolated South Pacific rainforests, a peculiar biological system evolved completely cut off from the rest of the planet. This is the crested gecko. It's an arboreal lizard defined by the distinctive ridges running down its head and back. Because it never developed eyelids, it has to constantly swipe its own tongue across its eyeballs to keep them clean and functional. When faced with a predator, its ultimate panic response is to violently sever its own tail to distract the attacker. Unlike other lizards, a crested gecko can never regenerate that appendage once it's dropped. Keeping this animal requires the precision of a field biologist, simulating the exact vanished parameters of a New Caledonian canopy to ensure its survival. A standard human home fluctuates wildly in temperature, but a crested gecko requires a strict thermal window. During the day, they need the air to sit perfectly between 72 and 78 degrees Fahrenheit. If ambient heat creeps up to between 82 and 85 degrees, their internal systems fail. Delicate cellular engines overheat, shut down, and fatally collapse. They are equally sensitive to dry air. Without constant moisture, a rapidly growing gecko can suffer from stuck shed, where the animal becomes trapped inside a hardened suit of its own dead skin that cuts off circulation until its toes fall off. The glass enclosure must operate as a precision life support system to keep the animal's biological functions from failing. That life support system requires specific physical dimensions. A single adult needs a minimum 18 by 18 by 24-inch vertical glass enclosure. Because they live their lives entirely in the trees, upward climbing height is more critical than flat floor space. They navigate this vertical space using Setae. Setae are microscopic, hair-like structures on their toe pads that create molecular friction, allowing them to walk straight up smooth glass and hang upside down. This chart shows the exact 24-hour humidity cycle required to keep those Setae functional. Moisture levels need to spike to 80% and then slowly drop to a 60% baseline. If it stays constantly above 85%, toxic mold and respiratory infections take over. To hit those peaks, you have to thoroughly mist the enclosure every morning and night. This physical intervention drives the humidity up and coats the artificial foliage and water droplets, which is the primary way these geckos will drink. By managing this daily rise and fall of water vapor, you successfully simulate a localized rainforest weather system inside a single glass box. Crested geckos are frugivorous, meaning they extract most of their calories from ripe fruits and nectar in the wild. If you try to feed them a standard reptile diet of crickets and mealworms, their internal chemistry quickly breaks down. This chart shows exactly what happens when their intake of phosphorus outweighs their calcium. They develop metabolic bone disease, or MBD. MBD is a fatal condition that pulls calcium directly out of the gecko skeleton, causing their bones to bow, kink, and turn dangerously soft. To prevent this structural collapse, keepers rely on commercial crested gecko diet, or CGD. These powdered formulas act as a pre-calibrated chemical failsafe, delivering the exact calcium ratios needed to keep their bones rigid. Mixing this compound requires a simple ratio: 1 part powder stirred into 2 parts water, forming a thick nectar-like paste. For an adult gecko, you deliver this mixture every other day. You act as a biological pharmacist, measuring the exact nutritional codes required to keep their tiny skeletons strong enough to resist the pull of gravity. Maintaining this animal requires balancing 3 precise pillars: stabilized 75-degree heat, a rhythmic 80% humidity cycle, and chemically flawless nectar. When you lock those variables into place, you get an incredibly active, healthy lizard that can swipe its eyes clean and launch itself securely onto the vertical glass with its microscopic toe pads. The reward for running this system perfectly is an animal that can thrive in your home for an average of 15 to 20 years. In a physical universe governed by cold entropy and decay, maintaining this flawlessly functioning microworld represents a rare achievement of biological stability. If you're ready to start building your own microplanet, check out the link in the description to read Krawlo's comprehensive crested gecko care guide. The guide maps out the exact vetted gear you need, from the right 18-inch vertical terrariums to the automated misting systems that will keep your weather cycles running perfectly. Sustaining a piece of a lost world starts with a single glass box,